When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Thankfully, there's more refined tools available, such as Rust, and in today's case, Tauri. Hi, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed my last video, and now that I've explained why Rust computer language is so handy, I wanted to show you why it's worth learning. You can use it to write programs and fill out the structure and functionality of the app you're looking to build. And one of the best new tools available to build apps with that coincidentally uses Rust is Tauri. Tauri is a new tool set for developers that makes app building very user-friendly and easy to understand. It was created as an open source project on GitHub by people who were looking for an alternative for Electron, which uses a lot of space and processing power to run apps. So today, I'll walk through using Tauri to set up an app, and we'll figure it out together because we're all learners here, and hopefully watching me figure out will help you to understand it too. So we're going to start by going to tauri.app on your preferred web browser. And there's different methods for creating the app, but the method I prefer, and the one that we're going to use today, is NPM, which stands for Node Package Manager. But over here on the Tauri homepage, you also have Yarn, which stands for Yet Another Resource Negotiator, which was created by Facebook to replace NPM, but now it's more of an alternative, given NPM's updates. And then you also have PNPM, which stands for Performant Node Package Manager. And that holds all the packages at a centralized location and creates links to them only if needed, if disk space is a major concern. Given the updates to each manager, it's really just a matter of personal preference and the scale of the app that you're building. But for today, we'll just start with NPM, and the line you see here listed is meant to be entered on a command line interface. So if you're on a Mac like me, you have the option of going down here to Launchpad, and then over here is the Other section, and in here you'll find Terminal. And you open that up, and this is how you can access your command line interface on a Mac. However, a friend turned me on to this program called VS Code, which has a terminal interface within it, but it's another very handy tool when writing not just Rust, but various different computer languages like HTML, Python, TypeScript, and others. All you need to do is install the correct plugin for the programming language you're trying to write in this case, Rust. So coming back to the quick start guide on the tauri.app, you see on the right here, and we click the button, and now you have a couple different options of building the app with. You can either use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which allows you to build from scratch and customize a little more, but takes a little longer to build as it requires you to be familiar with every step of the process in building it. Or, as we're going to do today, you can use Vite, which pre-bundles dependencies, which are mostly plain JavaScript that rarely change during development, and makes for a much faster, simpler build. And it also works with multiple frameworks, so it's a very versatile tool as well. Again, this is all personal preference, but the nice thing is Tauri has all of the options available to you. So clicking on Vite takes you to the page where we can follow along, and again, it gives you the options of a package manager to choose from and the line to enter on the CLI. Now, one place I got slightly caught up was on the fact that you can either choose to enter the Create Tauri app command right here, or scroll down and enter each step by yourself with the various commands entered on the CLI. But the big thing is that you don't need to do both. The Create Tauri app command takes care of a lot of these steps for you, and that's the method I'll be demonstrating today. So we're going to go back up here to Create Tauri app, but again, there's all these other options for you as well if you wanted to do the specific steps rather than just having it done for you. So going back over to the CLI on VS Code, which you go up here to Terminal and New Terminal, and then here's your command line interface. So we enter the npm create Tauri app. Now, as you can see, it gives you an introduction and a prompt screen. And when we press any key, it asks you to give your new Tauri app a name as well. And so I'll just do Tauri demo. And since I've done a couple of these, 3, and it asks for the title of your windows that it produces, because essentially it just produces a window with basic functionality that then after it's built, you can go in and tweak the structure in the architecture. So we'll just say demo window. Now it gives you a bunch of different options or recipes, as it calls it, to build with. You can use vanilla.js, JavaScript, create Vite, create React, Svelte, which is very handy. And then there's Solid, there's Vue CLI, Angular, Dominator, ClojureScript, and vanilla.js, or whatever preset is your personal preference. It also provides the links for the templates to the user interface recipes to use. But the nice thing is that Tauri is very accessible to a wider range of developers. So we're going to go with Create Vite, because again, Vite is simpler to build with, in my opinion, as well as being faster and smoother. And then it asks, add the Tauri Apps API NPM package, which you want to say yes. Now you can choose which template you want to use. You have the option of choosing between JavaScript and TypeScript. Anything that doesn't have a TS like this is JavaScript, but the nice thing with TypeScript is it's superscript, or the next evolution of JavaScript. Essentially, it's JavaScript with more features and more ability to scale to larger size projects with compile time error checks. So and it gives you multiple options here, but we're gonna go with Svelte TypeScript because it's a sort of compiler that works much faster from the beginning and works to make apps lighter and user-friendly by gathering the logic, structure, and style into the same file and making the code easier to read and maintain. Also, it doesn't embed a runtime like React or Vue. And again, we're going to use the TypeScript version because it's a smoother version with more double checking than the traditional JavaScript. Now it's just asking to install the necessary packages, to which we say yes, and confirms the desired name of the package and then begins scaffolding the project. As you can see, Tauri continually makes building the project user-friendly by showing what commands are needed to initiate the next step. In this case, change directory to Tauri demo 3, npm install, and npm run dev. So it's loading. And now it tells you the installation is complete, so now we have to change the directory to Tauri demo 3 and follow the next command it says, which is npm run Tauri dev. As we enter that in, it begins building the framework and downloading the crates needed while showing a progress bar so you know how quickly and easily it builds for you. This should take a minute or two, but as you can see, Tauri streamlines the process for you so you can spend your time tailoring the finished app to your needs as opposed to navigating the intricacies of building the necessary components. And so it's compiling and loading for you. And this is kind of what makes Tauri such a really handy tool for developers, is that it takes care of a lot of this for you. It makes it just a simple interface. You just need to answer a couple of questions, and then it builds the framework. And then instead of having to build something from scratch, you just have to tweak it to whatever your needs are. And also, if you continue to explore the Tauri website over here. There's tons of frequently asked questions and guides for navigating this, as well as you can pose any questions either on GitHub, or all of the developers behind Tauri are very active on Discord as well. And it's still loading. But over here on the right, you can basically see what it produces is a window with just basic functionality. But then the handy thing with VS Code, as you see over here on the left, is it has this file navigator. So it allows you to go through and open up the specific files for writing the code to alter your app to however you need it to function. And finishing up here, and here you go. Once it completes, now you have your title window, essentially the main screen of your app. It displays the logos of the tools you chose to build it with, Vite and Svelte, both of which are hyperlinks to their websites, and a clickable counter button that serves as just a basic function that you can either retool or replace to suit whatever your needs are for the app you want to build. And again, one of the reasons why I chose VS Code is because you have the File Explorer function over on the far left here. So you can open up the drop-down of the program we just created right here, and within that go into the source Tauri folder, and within that go into the source folder, and then we find main.rs, which is where the main function file is, right here, written in Rust. And you know it's written in Rust because of the .rs extension. And this is where you can use Rust to write in functions that you want your app to be able to perform. You just add it to the main function and then create a linear logic for it to trigger the function you want to build. So overall, Tauri makes creating all the structure much simpler and easier, and requires answers to a couple of basic questions and does the rest for you. So it works as a very handy tool that's not too intimidating for developers of all skill levels, and it takes care of starting the legwork for you so that you can focus on building the functionality of your app and tweaking the details as needed with a framework that's already built for you. Because good tools cut the work and time needed for a job down considerably. And let's face it, time and attention are the most valuable things you have, and you'd much rather spend that building your app rather than building what you need to build your app. So there you have it. A more refined tool for a more efficient job that helps you to work smarter, not harder. Thanks for watching. I hope this piques your interest in using Tauri and makes app building much more approachable and less daunting. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll address them in subsequent videos as we continue to explore how to use Tauri and tweaking the app it helps you to build. Take it easy.